Hi everybody, my name's Lola, singer of Light Language Arts, and welcome again to a series of videos where I use my ability to speak and sing in light language in kind of a unique way. I combine it with my love of the Thoth tarot deck. I'm a tarot reader and teacher. I love the imagery of this deck. What I do is explain some of the symbolism on the card and tune in energetically to the frequency of that card and deliver a channeled song in light language that matches the frequency of the card I've been discussing. And light language is one of those woo-woo skills that a lot of people don't know about, but I noticed there are a lot of people discovering they have this ability. And basically it's just bringing in energy from other dimensions. You can call them light codes, you can call them energy balls, whatever you want to call it. But basically we go to a higher dimension where there's no language, it's just frequency, and we bring that frequency through. It can be written, it can be danced, it can be through movements of the hands, and it can also be through speech and song. So today I'm going to focus on singing in light language, and we're going to talk about a whole new set of cards that represent the element of air. Air is associated with the mind in tarot, thinking. So I have a new hat. Every hat shows a different element. This is my only blue hat, so I'm going to wear it to represent air. And it's also kind of too big for my head up here, so it's got a lot of air stuck inside here over the top of my head, so this is why I chose this hat. So the reason I'm using the hats too is because we have different aspects of our personality depending on the situations that we're currently in. And I keep using the example I think most people can relate to. We behave differently at work than we do at home. That's simple. We're wearing a different mask, a different hat. So this is when we're talking about when we're being very intellectual and using our mind. So the first card I'm going to share with you is the Knight of Swords, and he is on a golden steed. That's the symbol of the sun. The sun is like when everything's working perfectly for you on the in the tarot deck. He's wearing the green healing color of Isis on his armor. If you look closely, he's riding over water. So this is kind of interesting because he's an air sign, which means he's a thinker, and he's coming from a high place. So he's bringing in high thoughts, okay? Water represents emotions. We talked about that earlier. So here he is, all this passion and drive, because he's a knight, he's a male, he's expressive, he's got these great ideas. I'm going to bring them down to earth. I'm going to go over and I'm going to traverse the waters and the emotions and the subconscious to get there. Now the tricky thing about that is that this card is showing us how the mind and the emotions work together or sometimes sabotage each other. Because, as we know from experience in life, our thoughts can affect our emotions can affect our thoughts. So one little thought that can tweak you over to thinking maybe something a little bit negative about yourself can cause you to go into an emotional spiral. And the same thing with the emotions. An emotion that triggers something in your brain that maybe causes you to think negatively can tip the balance as well. So in his highest state, he's got great ideas. He's bringing them to earth. He's very noble. He's passionate about what he's thinking, but he can get easily distracted, and that can be shown by, it's actually a little hard to see here, but he's got on his helmet 4 wings. And if you saw it on the bigger deck, they actually have the words north, south, east, and west on them. So he's kind of like a dragonfly. And that's the way thoughts work. They can shift so fast. And that's how emotions can affect our thoughts too. We can shift really fast. So he's really representative of a lot of swift thinking. If it's directed and focused with will, it's going to be very good. He'll get his message down to earth. If it's not focused, then, he's just not delivering the goods. Another thing that is hard to see here on this card probably, but there's a long sword in one hand and a short sword in another called a poignard. So this is a card of Gemini. I'm a Gemini. Other Geminis are going to relate to this too. So here he is. He's got a great thought. So this is his longsword, right? He's coming down from the heavens. He's focused. He's got the will. He's got the determination. And then all of a sudden, he's distracted by another really good thought. Well, there's a good thought. So that's represented by the shorter sword, the poignard. He starts to pull that thought in, and guess what happens to the other one? He drops it. Geminis, we can think like this and shift and like automatically. We see the big picture. We can see both sides of an argument. This is a good example. Like maybe Bob and Jane are fighting over something, and here's the longsword. And we're going, yeah, Bob has a good point there, and then Jane says something, and we go, oh yeah, Jane's got a good point too. Some members of the zodiac, they're very focused on one thing, so they don't see the big picture like we do. But that's a gift and it's a curse, So one good thing about this card, there are actually quite a few good things since he's coming from very high place, is do you see these 3 sparrows that are with him? Those are symbols of the goddess Isis as well, but it's also trying to show that in his highest form, he's coming down swiftly with focus, will, and intention. Okay, he's also coming down with those representing mind, body, spirit. So at his best, he delivers great messages from high places. It's just that because the mind is so tricky, and we can shift so easily, he doesn't always get the message through. So I'm going to tune into the energy of this card. Should be pretty simple because this is my birthday card. And let's see what he sounds like. All right. Anateo kono masalate ono mahayana he ono mahalea ya no yono he. Amasala neo yana hiala neo yono mahaye. Iana haleo no masala mahaleo no mahayano maya. Isalate koro amasela na haleo no mahala mahaya. Io no serana mahaleo no pasala, io no mahayana haleo no mahayo, io na mahalane se koro mahalaya, anamasaleo no mahalaneo no, isarana maya no karana mahala, eserana maya, amaleo no mahamaya, amasalaneo. Amakero no mahamalaya no haleo no mahamaya. Iserana mahaleo no mahalanehoya. Isarana mayo no mahala mahaya. Misona maya no mahala mahaleyana. Anateo koramala se anama. Mahala maya no mahaya. Hela nasareo no mahala mahaya. Teo na. Anasala neo no mahamaleo. Amateo la. Amakeola, Ameu. I actually feel really good right now. That really elevated me. So I think he actually got the message through, the spirit to the earth here. However, I was as surprised as you might have been at how fast that was. Just like the thoughts, it moves so quickly too, and shifts so fast, and the emotions that affect them. So there was a point where it did feel kind of scattered, and where is the focus? Where is this going to? But I think he finally delivered the message at the end, because I do feel more spirit energy in my body after singing that. So I hope that helps you to understand this tricky card, I'm usually really happy when I see it because I know these ideas are coming from a high place, but I also understand that sometimes he doesn't get his message through. And through just because he's so interested in everything. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be continuing with the series with the element of air, and see you tomorrow.